I'm Rich Drozier, the Chief Communications Officer here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is my pleasure to welcome you here this morning where we're doing something for the first time, and we hope the first of many, because what we saw in the process of doing this was the excellence that we try to celebrate. And at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, our mission statement says we'll honor the greatest of the game, preserve the game's history, promote the game's values, and celebrate excellence together. And the first two parts of that mission statement are simple. If you think about us as the National Football Museum, honoring the greatest of the games and preserving the game's history are easy. And if anybody asked you what does the Pro Football Hall of Fame do, you'd probably come up with some variation of that without even thinking about it. But it's the third pillar of the mission statement that we took extra interest in for 2025. Promoting the game's values. What does that mean? What does that look like? So, created the character exhibit where we illustrate the ways that different individuals, some of whom are Pro Football Hall of Famers, but many who are not. And you saw that when you came here as part of the different groups that took advantage of a field trip here that included the character exhibit. You saw things like Joe Delaney, who was a second-year up-and-coming running back for the Kansas City Chiefs, who, when he saw three people roughly your age, the youngsters in the front row, swimming in a pond and drowning, and knowing that he didn't know how to swim himself, he went into the water anyway. And it cost him his life. And then there's somebody like Pat Tillman, whose name might be a little bit more familiar to you. And I see a couple of heads nodding. They know who he was. This was a guy, late round draft pick, got to where he got to by outworking other people who had more athletic talent, was on the cusp of getting that big contract that all athletes dream about. He pushed the money away and said, I need to do something more important. So those are the kinds of things that you got to experience by going through the character exhibit, and others will do the same when school begins again in the fall. But we offered to any of the schools that took advantage of a field trip here and experienced the character exhibit to apply for a grant. And 8 districts did so. And from those 8, we're here this morning to celebrate the 2 that we decided, and I had the pleasure of serving on the committee that picked the winners. And both of you were in my top 2. Because there were 3, I think, of the 8 that really separated themselves, and we wished we could do 3, but we had said we would do 2. And so you're here to accept something that we graciously want to give you because we understand that what you're doing matches our values. Not everybody is going to be big enough, fast enough, tall enough to play the game of professional football, but the values that the game teaches. And we believe that football is unique in its ability to teach those values because it takes not only 11 people on each side of the ball working together, but it's a sport where you get knocked down literally on every play. Do you get back up or do you stop getting back up? Do you trust the person next to you to do their job, and will you do your job because the person next to you is counting on it? Those are the kinds of values that the game of football teaches that transcend the game. Fit into education as well. Your districts are only as strong as your leadership, from your superintendents all the way down, inclusive of everybody that walks through that door every morning, and you're part of those teams. So at this time, I would like to bring forward our communications coordinator, Nathan Martin. He's kind of got a foot in 2 areas of the Hall of Fame these days, with me on the communication and PR side, and with the youth and education team that organizes all of the field trips and the other youth-facing programming that we do. And he's going to talk about the 2 grant recipients, what we saw in those applications that distinguished them, and why we want to present you with these really cool checks here in a few minutes. So thanks for coming.
All right, well, thank you, Rich. And Canton South, McKinley, thank you guys for being here with us this morning. Having the opportunity to kind of have a foot in both worlds with communications and youth and education, I've got the chance to get in front of students and talk about character and be a part of these field trip experiences. And something that we emphasize to all the students that have come, including these students that are sitting here in front of us, is that ultimately character is a choice. It's a choice that we get to make every single day. Am I going to be somebody that chooses to be selfish and me-focused, or am I going to be somebody that chooses to be selfless and put others and their needs in front of my own? Am I going to be somebody that chooses to be arrogant, or am I going to be someone that chooses to be humble? Am I going to be somebody that chooses, when things get hard, to just quit? Or am I going to find that perseverance, that resiliency? And the game of football has numerous examples, and Rich already referenced a couple of those, of good character, both on and off the field. And it was our goal to highlight those to students and hopefully inspire the students to take those lessons and apply them to their own life. And, we are excited to welcome students and staff from both Canton South and McKinley High School. And both schools have sent students, and they've heard these stories. They've interacted with these exhibits. And like I said, it's our goal that our aim that they'll take these lessons and be inspired and implement them in their districts. And through these grant applications, we're just blown away with the plans of how they intend to implement great character in their respective districts. When I think about the Canton South High School grant application, as someone who got to read through all of the submissions and help assess who we were going to choose, the word I think of is thorough. The submission that Canton South put in was thorough. It was detailed as far as how they were going to use the funds to make an impact in their community with their school. The plan is to take the students and tackle the literacy problems that our county faces by installing 10 little free libraries throughout the area. Very detailed in how they would use those funds to do that. Through that project, the students will continue to develop traits like generosity, teamwork, and civic responsibility, traits that someone who has good character would display. This is a project the Hall is excited to support, and one of the character grants couldn't go to a more deserving school district in Canton Local Schools. So at this time, I want to go ahead and invite the representatives from Canton South, Assistant Principal Andy Harms, Greg Eibel, Jen Hilton, and then we've got our Canton South students here, Carly, Jalen, Cody, Jake, and Catonio, up here to the front of the room to be presented with your check here from Rich.
Where you want us, right here?
Just kind of right here in the center. We'll snap some pictures and then.
We appreciate you guys very much, and we appreciate the donation, and we'll do our very best to use it wisely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Canton South. Now to our next award winner and grant recipient, Canton McKinley High School. The submission from McKinley High School impressed the selection committee because of the impact that they plan to have through their National Honor Society. At McKinley, the National Honor Society has had a tremendous influence and impact for 103 years within the school and the community, and the funds that they'll receive will allow them to expand existing programming. It's programming where blankets are being given to local nursing homes or NICUs, helping serve the most vulnerable throughout our community. It's blessing bags for individuals that find themselves homeless, aid for folks who need it the most. And children's books, again, back to the problem our county faces centered around literacy, where they're going to aim to inspire a love of learning and reading in the youngest citizens within our community. All of these initiatives are things that the Pro Football Hall of Fame, again, is proud and excited to support through one of these character grants. So at this time, I'm excited to welcome the representatives from Canton City Schools and McKinley High School, Superintendent Mr. Jeff Talbert, Gary Candle, Director of Secondary Education, College and Career, Sean Stranger, Principal, Alan Brown, McKinley Academic Principal, Rita McMillan, Jennifer Henderson, National Honor Society advisors, and then students Dylan, Nyla, Zoe, Mariah. Please come up here to the front of the room and receive your guys' check, your character grant.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, McKinley and Canton City Schools. And before we leave today, we do have a special message we'd like to share with you guys, our recipients here of these character grants. So at this time, if we kind of can put our attention here to the screen, we'll click play on our message.
Hi, I'm Ohio native Randy Gradishar. I want to congratulate McKinley and Canton South on winning the Character Grant Awards. Keep up the great work.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for making it a priority and getting over here to receive these funds and receive these grants. We couldn't be more excited, like I said, to partner and support you guys in these efforts. And at this time, we're going to go ahead and encourage everybody. If you remember from your field trip, we're going to go around the corner over to the character exhibit for some more pictures. And so thank you guys so much.